The cover page of One Piece chapter 1140, titled Scopper Gyaban, features the inside of Who's Who's new hideout. Currently, he and his feline posse have captured two of his former Tobiropo comrades and are toying with their lives. Ulti has been propped up on a sword-throwing board, and by the looks of it, she's had a number of close calls already. Meanwhile, Page 1 has been pinned to the ground with a blade close enough to give him more than just a haircut. And based on Ulti's current pose, I think it's pretty safe to say that the biblical references won't be slowing down anytime soon with this series. Gyaban has just challenged Luffy to a fight over the key that will free Prince Loki. But unbeknownst to Luffy, this guy was once the Pirate King's left-hand man. Luffy didn't have any desire to fight the geezer, and told him to just give them the key already. Road, being the only one of them who knows just who the old man really is, wondered what the old powerhouse was up to. Gyaban taunted the captain by asking if he's not confident he'll be able to take it. That was enough of a reason for Luffy, as he leapt down despite Nami calling after him. Zoro remembered what Cullen said about his human father, how he used to be a pirate who didn't fear anyone, and that includes the warriors of Elbaf. Luffy tried to grab the key, but Gyaban easily dodged. Luffy made a face at that, surprised by the man's finesse. He tried a bit harder and was even more surprised. Seeing that this tact wasn't working, he tried his hand at diplomacy, claiming that the sooner they deal with Loki, the sooner they'll be able to go back to the feast. To that, Gyaban said that Luffy should just hurry up and take it then. With such a little distance between them, Luffy scoffed and decided to do just that. But Gyaban reeled back with the now hockey-coated key above Luffy. All Luffy could do was look up at the intimidating attack that rippled with incredible hockey. Gyaban smashed the key down harder than Sora, right on Luffy. Then he twirled back onto an empty treasure chest. Road tried to talk the old man down. Meanwhile, Nami was worried about Luffy's condition. Luffy emerged with a shout. Now he's really mad. From above, Gyaban complimented the boy's straw hat. He added that it suits him a lot better than the helmet he's wearing. Luffy agreed, since the hat is his treasure that he's holding onto for Shanks. Gyaban casually dodged his grappling grabs. He called Shanks a cheapskate for only lending Luffy the hat instead of straight up giving it to him. That just upset Shanks' #1 fan even more. He claimed that the geezer doesn't know the first thing about Shanks, which just made Gyaban, as one of the dudes who raised Shanks and actually knows about his heritage, chuckle. He jammed the key in Luffy's mouth for giving him lip. Now imagine how deadly that would be against someone without a rubbery body. From there, Gyaban let go of the key and let it crash down on Luffy. Zoro had a really bad feeling when he saw the man pull out two axes. Gyaban assumed an imposing stance as he wielded them. We also saw him hurl a giant axe at Road in the previous chapter. The throne room didn't have any weaponry we could see, and the same goes for the interior of the old treasure room, least of all human-sized ones. And it's not like he placed them here beforehand. Gyaban didn't arrive with any weapons on him, and we've never seen where he gets them from. I bring this all up to say that he might just have an axe-wielding devil fruit. Gyaban chillingly called out one of his techniques, Grim Throng. Luffy, who's just been getting his backside handed to him, paled at the sight. This guy was serious. Zoro desperately shouted at Luffy to dodge. The swordsman interrupted a bit of the attack while Luffy avoided the rest. And in this case, Zoro didn't hesitate to use all three swords. An entire section of the castle came tumbling down. Gyaban's smile grew as he admired the youngster's crew. Zoro, on the other hand, was grimacing. Road and Nami were absolutely terrified. In response, Luffy entered Gear 5 for the first time on Elbaf, and he called on Zoro to help him out with this one. He's actually wielding an axe of his own and sports a set of horns, which is especially cool since we now know the history of Elbaf giants with horns. Gyaban silently admired Luffy's white form, something he's heard about. The severed castle area fell from above and crashed down to the underworld where Loki resides. Zoro shouted at Luffy to brace himself. Gyaban's eyes flashed with enthusiasm, just before he threw up his arms and laid down his weapons in surrender. The two straw hats slammed into the rubble. An angry Zoro told the old man to stop messing with them. Gyaban just asked the two to have a sense of humor. He was only messing around after all. Luffy wasn't about to joke with a guy who was trying to put him on a t-shirt. But the kid was still alive, so Gyaban didn't see the problem. Whatever the case, Gyaban already left them the key, which Luffy turned to see. Road tried to give the old man a proper introduction, but Gyaban told him not to. On his way out, he told them that if Elbaf is still safe by the time they decide to leave, they should come find him. Zoro never wants to see the old man again. Luffy thanked the guy for the key, but doesn't plan on going to find him later. Gyaban thought about a recent conversation he had with Shanks. Gyaban wasn't about to trust Luffy right off the bat. Shanks laughed and told his senior pirate to do as he pleases. Over at the Walrus School, the children told Ange to look outside. So she stepped out, wondering what was going on. The giant children noticed a strange bird in the sky. But when Ange looked up, the sky was clear. Meanwhile, in the realm of the sun, Gunko was using her power to create a bird made of arrows to fly them around. The Walrus School was convenient for their plans. Gunko extended a hand and began to summon another member of the Holy Knights. Shamrock agreed, and just like that, another teleportation circle sprang to life. Black lightning erupted from the spot. Soon, two figures emerged from the darkness. One of them understood the circumstances and didn't mind participating. The other was more concerned with where they'd be leaving from, along with where the abyss would be. This seems to be what the teleportation is called. It's also a word used in the Harley texts. The first figure turned out to be an older man. He expected them to have a bit of time before the mission. He would still need to get dressed and all that. Saint Summers, who hails from the same noble house as Jupiter, asked for at least an hour to prepare. He was also curious about the current situation, particularly the provisions. Surely the Celestial Dragon shouldn't go without food, but the lightly dressed Holy Knight had already been teleported, and so his Denden Mushi call dropped. On the other hand, there was another Holy Knight who looks like they've eaten the Korin mythical Zoan Devil Fruit. St. Kilgum was already in their hybrid form and worried about being late. Due to being half asleep, they didn't even know the destination. Gunko blushed while looking away, despite also having a lack of pants herself. She turned away entirely from St. Summers when he asked Gunko why she was in his manor along with Shamrock, not realizing that they'd already been taken. The two Celestials were totally shocked. They were in Elbaf before they knew it. While St. Summers rushed to get dressed, he noticed that his couch was summoned along with them. St. Kilgum admired the scale of everything around them. Since Shamrock only wanted one person, he questioned why two had arrived. St. Kilgum told their captain that he's currently needed in the Holy Land, and this was an order from the five elders. Now St. Summers was filled in too. After all, the situation back home was rather dire. Everything took a turn for the worst once the reverie began, so they'd better finish this up quickly. St. Summers wanted to know what the current mission would entail, and why they were in a nation unaffiliated with the world government. He asked if they were visiting the former Giant King's grave, which certainly makes me wonder what their relationship with the late king might have been like. Now fully clothed with a rose corsage and a thorn-handled sword, St. Summers got the picture. The half circle of thorns is slightly biblical as well. They would be kidnapping some giant children and taking them back to the Holy Land, but their size would certainly make lugging them home a challenge. Additionally, those who lack a certain mark cannot be teleported by the abyss, so they would need to take the children away by way of boats. Gunko found the Zoan user to be ungrateful. Thinking about their powers in concert, Shamrock proposed that they make a game out of their quest, and he has a rather sinister look in his eyes. This seems to be the same penchant for competition that his father displayed at God Valley. It's kind of crazy that we have these super racists dressed up like those really bad guys that were once in Germany. I haven't even seen these guys do anything just yet, but I'm already really curious how strong the Revolutionary Army's top brass are compared to them. Dragon claimed that the real fight would begin when they clash after all. As for Luffy versus Gyaban, I've seen too much slander on Luffy's name. Luffy wasn't taking the old man seriously at all, and only made attempts in his base form. Zoro stepped in because he had the sense to quickly realize the threat the man posed. And I think we should all know by now that the elderly in One Piece are next level. We saw Garp solo the majority of Blackbeard's crew, and Rayleigh got Blackbeard to retreat from Amazon Lily with his mere presence alone. Their objective here was getting the key back as quickly as possible. Speaking of speed, Gyaban expects them to seek him out before they leave, and knowing that Egghead Island took about 2 years to complete, I'm guessing we'll have GTA 6 before that happens. But I suppose it's just another thing to look forward to. I also find it funny that being powerful off-screen seems to run in the family, with Shamrock being called back to the Holy Land. I guess it's still too early to reveal the strength of their strongest member. Anyways, let us know what you guys think about everything in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.